Welcome to InfoHub. In our headlines, public and private stakeholders instructed on strategies to combat corruption. Advisor refutes NTC's claim that government's $16 million subvention is not adequate. And revelers will have a new route for MASH 2018. Stay tuned for the details of these and more.
As Guyanese citizens who live in Guyana, we have duties to perform for the benefit of our families, communities, and ourselves. Some of those duties are legal, like obeying the laws of Guyana, and others are voluntary, like keeping our surroundings clean or voting.
One legal duty that citizens have which contributes to the national budget is paying your taxes. But you can be of greater help to your country and government agencies by paying attention to how public services are being delivered and asking questions if you have any concerns. The budget is everyone's business. Get involved now.
A message from the Ministry of Finance.
And now for the details. Minister of State Joseph Harmon has called into question the opposition's claim that the national 2018 budget lacks vision.
Minister Harmon said the ministers of government and members of parliament have gone to granular levels to outline the vision of the coalition government to move the country further along the development trajectory.
Minister Valerie Patterson gave you the vision on housing. What else do you want? She said to you the housing stock that we have. She said to you the number of house lots which were issued in the past and couldn't be occupied. She said to you that we are going to be providing not just house lots, but we'll be providing communities. We will be building communities for the people of this country. What other than that do you want?
Minister Harmon cautioned the opposition about this claim, noting that Guyanese are observing, listening and judging their words. As it relates to the laying off of sugar workers, the state minister reiterated that this was taken into consideration by the administration. Hence, a large chunk of money was allocated for severance.
A huge chunk in there for severance. So the workers must know that too. While you keep complaining that, oh, we don't do this for workers, we don't do that for workers, a chunk is in there for them.
Turning his attention to the green agenda, Minister Harmon said this is the enduring and sustainable trajectory that will guarantee the economic, social and cultural development of the country. Responding directly to PPPC MP Gail Teixeira, Minister Harmon acknowledged that some $250 million was garnered through the Low Carbon Development Strategy, LCDS. However, he said the coalition realized that it was seriously limited. The LCDS, he noted, merely provided a foundation upon which this government recognized it can build the all-embracing Green State Development Strategy. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Minister of Social Protection Amna Ali told the National Assembly that while the task was enormous, the coalition government is proud of what it has accomplished and the path they are traversing to achieve the good life.
We are seeing and picking the fruits on this journey. And with time, under the coalition government, Guyana will rise to the peak where all will enjoy the good life. Our task is enormous, but we are proud of what we have achieved and the path we are traversing to reach the good life.
Minister Amna Ali said that the government has formulated programs and policies to create an enabling welfare state, one which helps the people to help themselves.
We will continue to work to give the unemployed youth the skills to find a decent job. We will give the single mother the support she needs to go out and work or start a small business. We will provide vulnerable persons such as our children, the elderly, the homeless, and victims of violence and trafficking with the right care and protection needed to better their life.
The minister also noted that the coalition government's action continues to be informed by the pledge it made to the people and by the goals and the objectives it has pursued since 2015 to ensure a better life for all. Sinika Thorne for InfoHub.
Public and private stakeholders were today educated on various strategies to combat corruption as the government continues its fight to eradicate this scourge. More from Crystal Stahl.
In fighting corruption in Guyana, the cooperation of citizens is crucial. Legal expert from the United Nations on Drugs and Crime, Christina Ritter, said at a panel discussion hosted at Duke Lodge, Kingston, in observance of International Anti-Corruption Day 2017.
There's no magic formula to fight corruption. we really have to do it through a multidisciplinary and comprehensive approach. So we need the participation of civil society, of academics, of the private sector, of the public sector.
Christina Ritter noted that the United Nations on Drugs and Crime has implemented a review mechanism to determine whether states are applying the International Convention Against Corruption.
Right now, Guyana is going through the first step of this mechanism, which is a self-assessment checklist completion. And to do that, in doing that, it really helps us and it helps the country find where those challenges are and how we can then prioritize overcoming each of them.
Director of Undergraduate Research, University of Guyana, Dr. Troy Thomas, said to combat corruption effectively, law enforcement is needed alongside the protection of victims who speak out. Thomas said proper sanctions are also needed for perpetrators. He also encouraged educating children from a young age to help shape their thinking on the issue of corruption. Crystal Stahl for InfoHub.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has intensified its international diplomacy to garner support in the defense of its territorial integrity. Tiffany joins us again.
Keeping active in the international arena on areas relating to issues of territorial integrity is important if Guyana is to garner support for its particular case, Minister Carl Greenidge noted during the third day of budget debates.
Belize, for example, finds itself in circumstances where its territory is under threat from Guatemala. You have many other cases in Eastern Europe, in the Indian Ocean, for example, also. And therefore, we need to work along with those countries to lend them support at an appropriate point in relation to issues specific to territorial challenges.
Guyana is preparing to defend the validity of the 1899 arbitral award that established the Guyana-Venezuela border. The country is awaiting a decision from the UN Secretary-General after completing another round of the Good Offices process. Minister Greenidge said increasing its diplomacy and promoting Guyana on the international stage is just as important as the mediations it has completed to bring resolution to the controversy, which began more than 50 years ago when Venezuela claimed that the award was null and void.
Part of the task of persuading others that we are a country whose causes are worthy of embrace has to do with creating in their mind an image of a country with features, with performance that is distinctive and desirable.
Guyana is courting other countries to hold the Secretary-General to his obligation to refer the settlement of the controversy to the International Court of Justice. For InfoHub, Tiffany Rogers.
In our next story, we hear that advisor to the Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Mervyn Williams, has responded to the allegation that the government's allocated $16 million subvention to the National Two Shoals Council is not adequate. Speaking with InfoHub on the sidelines of the Budget 2018 debates, Williams noted that subventions are not the only form of support the government makes to the NTC. He highlighted travel expenses for various meetings and the government's gift of a plot of land in the heart of the city for the establishment of a secretariat as among the support given to the indigenous body.
The government will be supporting the NTC beyond its subvention. One state agency has already come on board and has indicated its interest in constructing or funding the construction, either in large measure or in total, of the Secretariat building for the NTC. Surely that must come at some significant value as well. So to suggest that the government doesn't care, hence the $16 million subvention, is to me it's very unfortunate.
Williams noted that when the NTC was established in 2010, it benefited from a subvention of $2.5 million, which later increased to $12 million. It was under the current administration that the allocation increased to $16 million, he pointed out. Further, he noted efforts to support the NTC to have consultations regarding the strengthening of the Amerindian Act were in vain.
The government values the work of the NTC, understands clearly its charter, but one wonders whether the current executive of the NTC fully appreciates its responsibility. For example, in the two years of its tenure so far, it'll be interesting to look at the mandate that is the NTC's mandate in accordance with the Amerindian Act and do an assessment to see what have been the achievements of the NTC.
Williams also noted that $25 million was allocated for the furtherance of consultations on the strengthening of the Amerindian Act. Therefore, to say that no monies were allocated is erroneous. Stacy is back and tells us that agriculture students from the New Amsterdam Multilateral Hope Secondary and President's College were given the opportunity to observe various coconut cultivation practices during a tour of the Hope Coconut Estate this morning.
The educational trip was part of the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute's CARI Open Day exercise. CARI's country representative Dr. Cyril Roberts said that the agency decided to use the Open Day to target the students in order to highlight the efforts being made to resuscitate the coconut industry in Guyana and the Caribbean.
We, in collaboration with Hope, visit areas in the country that has got high productivity, select those trees that are most productive, take seed nuts from them and bring them and plant them here at Hope in a nursery. This nursery is intended to demonstrate to the country that coconut seedling production is a lucrative venture to be involved in.
Dr. Roberts also highlighted that come 2018, CARI will be collaborating with the Ministry of Education to roll out various projects into schools.
How we do our work and get students, pupils interested, motivated and involved is something we do deliberately and continuously, and we don't have to wait for CARI Day for that. In fact, I will further say that part of our work program deliberately next year, we will work directly, we'll do projects directly on schools. So we'll be working directly with schools going forward.
Also, as part of CARI Open Day, the top performing student at the recent CSEC examinations, Ion Jotis, was rewarded by the agency for his outstanding performance. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
And in our final report, Gabriela Patram tells us that Mashramani revelers will now have a new route come 2018.
All participating bands will assemble on Thomas Lands, west of Albert Street, and the first judging point will be by the National Park. And the parade will proceed east along Thomas Lands, then south into Vlasingen Road and into Durban Park using the Vlasingen and Hatfield Street entrance.
Minister Norton added that the chutney competition will recommence in 2018, while a junior soca competition will be held for the first time. It was also disclosed that information will be available for persons interested in vending along the route of the float parade. Some of the programs for March 2018 include a children arts and essay competition, adult calypso finals, and a family fun day, among others. Gabriela Patram for InfoHub.
That's InfoHub for today, but before we go, we encourage you to pick up a copy of our budget bulletin from a newsstand near you, or read a digital copy on our website, where you can also follow us for more news there and on social media. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.